Today on What's Next.
This don't mess with me attitude that you see amongst a lot of older athletes, that like nothing's going to get in their way. And as a photographer, it's really fun to watch.
It was really essential for us to build a solution for my grandparents to be able to see what I'm doing and what the rest of their family's doing.
Share your favorite photo of someone who is growing bolder.
Hello and welcome into another episode of What's Next. On today's show, we are going to focus our collective lens on the power of photography to change belief systems. They say a picture is worth 1,000 words. And unfortunately, many of the images that are used by the majority of media outlets only reinforce the negative ageist stereotypes that are damaging to all of us of every age. It's the I've fallen and can't get up kind of images instead of the I'm up and chasing my dreams kind of imagery. And that's where we come in, because we look through a lens of possibility and not limitation. And joining me once again, Amy Sweezy, Bill Schaefer, and Cecily Wilson, AKA Team GB, all known individually for not just moving forward in their own lives, but for their passion for giving back to others. So what do you say? Let's get this party started. Bill, we share bold visuals of all kinds. That's what we do. We always look forward to sharing stories from the National Senior Games because inspiration is there for everyone. For someone who has never been to the National Senior Games, how do you describe what we see every time we go?
You know what, Mark? You picked a great topic there. This is going to be really interesting because I think, like with a fine photograph, the first thing you notice is completely deceiving. It's all wrong because you notice the ages. The first thing you see when you look around is the white hair. But then you take a deeper look and somehow age starts to fade into the background, and what you see is amazing. A sense of accomplishment in people, excitement, pride. It's a very inspiring and it's a powerful picture.
And we've got some powerful pictures to pass on now, folks. David Burnett shares our passion for the inspiration that we find at the National Senior Games. Now, this is a guy that is a world-renowned photojournalist who, in a single frame, captures the essence of the competition. Check out the impact of his work in this feature presented by the host of the 2023 National Senior Games, Sports Pittsburgh. Acclaimed photojournalist David Burnett is searching for the single frame, a magic moment that tells the bigger story. Burnett has covered the Vietnam War, the Iranian Revolution, and 13 Olympic Games. American Photo magazine named him one of the 100 most important people in photography. These days, Burnett finds himself increasingly drawn to older athletes.
And it's fun because it kind of, I think, grabs some of this don't mess with me attitude that you see amongst a lot of older athletes, that like nothing's going to get in their way. And as a photographer, it's really fun to watch. Every time I'm kind of in this world of older athletes, it makes me kind of feel 10 years younger.
Burnett's photos are beautiful, but also relatable. It's easy for any of us to find ourselves in one of them. In a single frame, they reveal the reality that countless research projects have now proven, that more is possible for all of us as we age. They're inspirational shortcuts from what is to what can be.
In the beginning, it's like, wow, look at all these old people doing amazing things. But after a while, if you hang around for a while, I think it's very contagious, and it's the kind of thing that people really respect and kind of get a very personal reaction to. And there are a lot of people who only kind of pick this up when they hit 70 or 75. And you see that it's more than anything, it's the willpower and the dedication to get up and do it every time. You could be a little cynical and say, oh, look, it's taken her forever to get over there. Yeah, well, she's 97 years old, so she'll get there and back in the time that she needs to.
He's documented wars, revolutions, and coups all over the world. These days, he's focused on a much different kind of conflict.
I did see two 97-year-old swimmers yesterday. I just kind of caught the tail end of it. And one of them said, I'm going to wipe the pool with you tomorrow or something like that. It was just like a couple of 16-year-olds, It was great. And I think amongst a lot of people here, they don't lose that verve and that energy and that desire to get out and kick ass a little bit.
We are never too old to trash talk, folks. This is a guy who has shot Olympic champions, and yet he finds more inspiration in shooting amateur athletes because these are photos that we can all imagine ourselves in. These are photos that can change lives, and if you can see yourself in one of David Burnett's photos, then start planning your trip to Pittsburgh and the 2023 National Senior Games today. Just visit sportspittsburgh.com for all the details. And guys, the moral of this story obviously is much bigger than sports. And Cecily, in your experience, how has photography helped deliver an important message about what's possible for all?
Oh, it definitely delivers a very strong narrative. And I'm watching this piece and just saw myself. There's a saying that you see it, you can be it. And I just saw us being inspired and like, oh my gosh, we can absolutely do this. So that narrative of what you can do is much louder than the narrative that I'm too old to do anything. No, not happening.
As a GB insider, I have signed up to get these daily emails that are called the Bold Start, and it's just a picture almost every day that comes to my email that is a meme, it's a quote, it's a saying, it's something positive, some kind of motivation or inspiration, and they almost always include a photo of someone who is 50 plus. And every time I see those, it just starts my day of, just like Cecily said, I see myself in those pictures.
Reality comes with a lot of distractions. We see things that we think we see, or see them in a different way. When you look at a photograph, you can stop. It freezes that moment in time, and you can look and you see things differently than you thought.
Bill, I think back about the photos that we've shared of 96-year-old Nola Och, the oldest college graduate who let everybody know it's never too late. Frida Lefebvre, who didn't take up painting until she was 78 or 79 and had her first one-woman show at 101, and of course one of our favorites, Ruth Hamilton, who started video blogging at the age of 109. And folks, it is never too late.
All right, I love that, Mark. Listen, don't go anywhere, because up next we are going to reveal our favorite photos of someone who represents what it means to be growing bolder. Welcome back inside Growing Bolder headquarters in Orlando, Florida, as we continue this episode of What's Next. Now, we've been talking about the power of photography to change the way the world views what's possible as we age. So guys, with that in mind, we'll open it up here. Share your favorite photo of someone who is growing bolder. Bill, we'll start with you.
All right, Amy, I got a good one here. I'm gonna pop mine in there, and as you all know, I'm a big fella. Obviously, I go about 6'5". Well, at least that's how it looks in the photo. But I'm standing next to a guy who's 5'1", but this guy was a decorated hero in World War II, a guy that proves that you cannot judge somebody by their size or their age. His name is Irving Locker. He's 98 years old. He goes to schools and churches, civic groups, talks about the war, about sacrifice, about contributing to the greater good. And the other side of Irving that's amazing, he's been married for 74 years, and boy, does he have a lot to say about making relationships work.
I thought about this, and I picked a photo of myself growing bolder, not because I was egotistical, but because this is a photo that I would never have shared because I was self-conscious about my body, about my legs. They're not as firm in tone. I've got cellulite, I've got stretch marks, and all of those things. But then what I realized is that here I am at 56 years old, standing boldly in my truth and who I am. This is what you get, straight no chaser. So I am comfortable now with showing this with all of my flaws, with all of my disappointments, with all of my setbacks, and saying, here I am, I'm still here, I'm still standing, I'm stronger, I'm bolder, and I'm more confident. So I don't know if I could top the other one, but that's who I am.
I think you did, Cecily, and I'm so proud of you. Good for you.
We could just put Cecily's photo back up and I could make it mine, but I didn't know we were going to see that, but thank you for that. In truth, we talk to so many people that my favorite changes with almost every story, but that said, this photo means a whole lot more to me than just a nice two-shot with a famous broadcaster. I think the entire GB team was moved by Dick Vitale's recent health struggles. We're talking about 2 cancer diagnoses, multiple surgeries, 6 rounds of chemotherapy, bile duct surgery, vocal cord surgery, all within 18 months. But this guy never gave up, and at 83 years old, he's now back on the air for ESPN and really more committed than ever to raising money. In fact, nearly $60 million so far for pediatric cancer research. This is growing bolder to me. Amy?
Growing bolder to me is finding your tribe. It is women supporting women. It is coming together. And so my picture that I chose is actually of more than one person. I have 5 women who are growing bolder. And this is 5 of us that are all connected to growing bolder in some way or another. And we were attending Cecily's annual fundraising event, Fall into Fabulous, just a short time ago. And, you know, it was so fantastic to be there in the crowd watching women support women. I just love being in these supportive groups where we can come together and talk and be positive.
Man, that was a lot of fun. And folks, while we're on portraits, TikTok has dozens of street photographers who actually approach strangers on the street. They show them examples of their work on their iPhone. They ask them if they can take their photo for free, and then they show them the result. Most approach younger, attractive men and women, but not this guy who prefers to capture the character of older subjects. Here's this week's bold social video.
Excuse me, sir. Hey, how you doing?
I'm still alive.
My name is David. I'm a photographer. I go around taking free pictures of strangers, and I thought you looked very fascinating. Really cool. I was gonna see if I can get you a free photo. Can I show you what I do? This is my work.
Oh, wow.
I just go up to strangers. I ask for a picture and just post the results. May I ask, how old are you?
No, almost 91.
Wow. It'll be a quick photo. You don't have to move.
Oh, look at that old fart. That's rather flattering.
Here at Growing Bolder, we understand the importance, the necessity really for all of us to stay connected as we age. It's a need that has only increased since the pandemic, and it's a big reason why we've partnered with GrandPad, a company that has leaned heavily on the advice of older adults to create a product specifically for their use. It's a tablet that's ready to use right out of the box with 4G LTE data. It's a safe and secure private family network that keeps scammers out. It allows older family members to video call, to message, to play games, to listen to music, and to connect with their loved ones each and every day. And for more on one of their unique and easy to use features, I'm happy to be talking with Isaac Lean, who is a GrandPad co-founder, and Justin Prate, senior product manager of games and entertainment. And guys, today we're going to be talking about the photo sharing function. And Isaac, explain to the viewer why your team thought it was so important to have a function to share photos between family members, and what are a few of the benefits that photo sharing brings to a family?
Sure. So when we started GrandPad about 9 years ago, I was living in California in high school with my parents, and my grandparents were all in Iowa. And there was no good way for us to share photos of my high school sports. I played water polo. We couldn't send a photo or video of the game to them because they weren't using standard technology devices. They weren't on Facebook. They didn't have smartphones. And it really caused this kind of gap in our family, or a technology gap, because they were out of the loop. It was really essential for us to build a solution for my grandparents to be able to see what I'm doing and what the rest of their family is doing.
This is as good as it gets, folks. Look at this. I just scroll over here and hit photos. I want to see all photos to see what's up there. I'm going to scroll through some photos. Here's a photo I took not long ago, and as I look at it, I can see that there is a comment that was left by Isaac, who saw this photo. I'm going to leave an answer to that. Thank you for recognizing that photo, Isaac. We were at the beach covering the National Senior Games in Fort Lauderdale. It was a beautiful day. We had a wonderful time, and I wish you were there with us. Just like that, it has been sent. And while you show off how that message appears to family members who are using the GrandPad companion app on a phone, explain to us, if you will, why you wanted to make the GrandPad have that voice messaging option.
So we recognize many of our users, haven't used touchscreen smartphones, or maybe it's challenging to use those on-screen keys. When my grandma saw photos of me, she could just tap that big comment button and just speak the message. So it's much easier for her, but then also for me and the family, we get to hear her voice and hear that reaction that she has. So it ends up being a much more rich experience for everyone involved.
And Justin, if you will, talk to us about the slideshow function. How does it work? And why your research showed that this was really something beneficial that people needed and wanted?
It rotates through all the photos that have been uploaded, and if there's new comments, it'll make sure that you're aware that there's a new comment on a photo. We used to show off photo books all the time when people would come over. So now you have the GrandPad sitting there that's cycling through the photos. So it's just a great way of being able to make sure that we're showing off the content for them that they want to see.
The GrandPad device is not just a one-trick pony, folks. You don't just look at photos. You don't just look at photos and comment on photos. You can actually use the device to take photos. So tell us about that, Isaac. How does it work? How do you use it not just to upload photos, but actually to create new photos?
There's a big photo camera button on the home screen where they can take photos or videos. After you take the photo, it's really simple. You just choose if you want to keep it just for yourself on your GrandPad, or if you want to share it out with your family network. So everyone is in the loop, and it couldn't be easier.
And folks, you can learn even more about all of GrandPad's features and why countless older adults are now choosing this easy-to-use device by attending a product demonstration webinar at grandpad.net. Check it out.
Well, welcome back to What's Next. Kind of wondering something here. Are you one of the 1 million people following Growing Boulder on Facebook? Well, if you are, you could be featured right here on the show. All you have to do is answer the Your Take question of the week. This time we asked you to share a photo that you took on your phone that makes you happy. And boy, did we get a lot of photos. A lot of people love their pets. Check them out. These are from Sandra, Teresa, and Salmon. People also apparently love to travel. We got a lot of travel photos too. And check out these landscapes sent in by Richard, by Duke, and by Mary. And Kathy sent us a photo that makes her happy with some of her swimming buddies. But what everybody is waiting to know is what makes you happy, Cecily Wilson. Cecily, hit us with a photo from your phone.
Number one, my granddaughter, Amari Elizabeth. That little girl has my heart, and every time I see her little face, it makes me smile every time.
I love it, Cecily. She's adorable. Okay, my picture is, drum roll please, this is my husband painting and remodeling our closet in the office at our home. Here's the thing, my husband does remodeling work for a living, and so that usually means my house never gets remodeled because he's so busy and so tired doing it for a living that my house still looks like it did in 1985 when it was built. So I was very excited to recently have some updates to my office closet.
John is so talented, Amy, at doing what he does.
Thank you.
I wanted to follow that up with my wife, Mary, because she also is really indulging in her creative side, and I love that she's following her passion, playing guitar, entertaining, and sitting in front of crowds and loving every minute of it at this age, feeling like she's doing it better than ever, and I think that's what makes it stand out for me.
You know, we're all pretty smart. Our spouses are showing up in our photos. Like most of us, I missed traveling during the pandemic, so we made up for it recently with a big trip. And this photo, brings me joy in many ways. I'm with my wife. I'm with my 2 daughters. I'm experiencing the stimulating culture shock of being in a foreign country and getting a mind-blowing lesson while imagining an ancient Greek empire nearly 2,700 years ago that built something like the Parthenon on the Acropolis in Athens. You know, back in the day, photographs were basically family heirlooms that were saved in boxes and passed down for generations. But today, there are 6.7 billion smartphone users, and we're taking about 5 billion photos every day. And the sharing power of the internet makes them instantaneously available. Of course, they're not all family heirloom quality, but life isn't all about birthdays and graduations and weddings. So keep that smartphone nearby, because you never know what's next. We'll see you next time.